This next beautiful woman right here, I'm interested to hear all that she does. I've heard a lot, but I've never got to meet her in person until today. Even though I think I might have seen you a couple times at Mario, maybe getting some fish or talking to my grandpa. I don't know. But when I see the name, I said, "Oh yeah, Pam White. I'm on that. Let's go. Come on, Queen. Give us fast songs. That big old pretty smile. I love it."
Okay, you guys. I'm coming up here with paper because I'm just going to be real. The Lord put something on my heart, and I wanted to make sure that I say everything that I need to say. And the thing is that I'm coming to talk about sickle cell disease. And I have the trait. And if anyone knows anything about sickle cell disease, it's a disease that was found in Africa, and those mosquitoes were there with malaria, and those that had the sickle cell trait did not die. Here you are, you standing there, and everyone around you is passing out and dying, but you're not. And so that was years ago, back in the day, back in Africa. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about sickle cell, and I do have this patient, but it's coming from my thought to going. Thank you for giving me the chance to share something deeply personal, something that has shaped my life and the lives of my children. Before I tell you my story, I want to take you back in time. In the beginning of the sickle cell story, I just told you about it in Africa and so forth, but the sickle cell disease was first discovered in 1910, more than a century ago. Scientists noticed that some people's red blood cells were shaped like tiny crescents or bananas and that kind of thing, and that oddly shaped cell could block blood flow, causing pain and damage all over and over time, damage to all of your organs. But what many people don't realize is that sickle cell trait carrying that just one copy of the gene was once a blessing. In parts of Africa where malaria was common, there was the trait, and those that had it did not die. It was God's way of protecting families, a genetic shield cast down through generations. So in the beginning, the trait was a lifesaver. But as time passed and our ancestors journeyed into the new lands, to Europe, to Caribbean, to Asia, and America, that same protective trait carried a new kind of risk. Here, malaria is not a threat. So when two people with the trait, you know how we hear that too much of anything, it was not good for you. So one trait is good, but when two traits come together, it's dead. It can be dead. So when two people with a trait have a child together, there's a 1 in 4 chance that their baby will be born with sickle cell disease. And here's something many people don't know. Sickle cell disease is not an African American disease. It's not just African Americans that have sickle cell disease. The trait can be found in people of Hispanic, Asian, Mediterranean, and Middle Eastern descent as well. It's a global condition, touching families of every background, often without them even realizing it. In the United States today, 1 out of 7 people would have the sickle cell trait, and 1 out of 365 babies will be born with this disease. And now those are old numbers. I'm sure those numbers are going up now. I've had the opportunity to work with the newborn screening in Reno, and we were getting 70 to 80 babies a month that were having the trait, and then so many with the disease as well. And this is all because of a lack of education and awareness. So this is where my story begins. Many years after that 1910 discovery, a beautiful baby girl was born to Josephine and Samuel McQueen. That baby girl was me. Okay. I grew up as a military brat, traveling from state to state and going overseas. And everywhere we went, we had to have blood work done. Had to have checking to see if there was anything going on in our blood. We were never told of this thing. When I turned about 2021, I got married, had my first child, and my first baby was born. We thought healthy and beautiful. But soon we began to notice things. She would cry in pain. She was a year old, running fevers and getting sick easily. After many doctor visits and tests, we got the news no parent ever wants to get. Well, now my baby, we didn't find out until she was 5 years old. She was going back and forth to the hospital or to doctors, and they couldn't tell me what she had because newborn screening was not out at that time. So she was 5. But in between that time, my husband passed away because he had the trait. He had the trait, and I knew he had the trait because I had anything. So we didn't have anything to worry about. So here it is, again, that lack of education. So here I am. I'm now a young widow, working and living with, taking care of my baby here. We have sickness, really not knowing what she has, but just knowing that she's sick. So now I'm trying to get help from everywhere. So later, when I found out that she had had sickle cell disease, then I began my education. I began with the schools. I began with my church. I began on my job. I built a village to help take care of me and my baby. Then I met the young man at the back here, my husband. After my first husband died, I met him, I think, in 1983. So he helped me with my child at that time. We married years later. And so then we have a son. And I'm told that my son, now this is 20 years later, he has the sickle cell disease. Again, not knowing that he had the trait. So sickle cell disease, it is not just pain. But although that pain is crucial, but it's about fatigue, being tired, having no energy, having energy so low that you can barely move. It's about eye problems, strokes, and silent organ damage that can appear over time. For many, it can mean hearing that you may not ever have children. And for many years, people with sickle cell were told that they would not live past 21 years of age. So let me tell you, sickle cell is a disease that's invisible until it's not. You can walk around your entire life carrying that trait, never feeling a thing, and never knowing what it is or what it can mean to your children or to your generation. So let me tell you something.